Hey guys, it's Atheist for the Cause here, and I wanted to talk about Donald Jr.'s emails again. Here's an interesting article because it's from the Washington Post, and I know this is a Republican, columnist, but it's still the Washington Post. So it says, sorry, Democrats, the holy grail of a Trump crime is still missing. What has really happened since Donald Trump Jr. released his email chain, setting up a meeting last June with a Russian lawyer? Are Democrats and their allies in the media any closer to having their high crime or misdemeanor? Answer: no. Has Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz stated yesterday. And of course, he's the lawyer that helped get O.J. Simpson off. He's basically, the top lawyer in the country, pretty much, possibly the entire world. And so pretty much what Alan Dershowitz says goes, and he has a long history of being objective on this stuff. He stated, it is unlikely that attendance at the meeting violated any criminal statute. Well said, Mr. Dershowitz. And yet the media would have you believe that the meeting Trump Jr. described as literally just a wasted 20 minutes is a smoking gun that will inevitably take President Trump, his administration, and his entire family down forever. In reality, Trump Jr.'s emails show has nothing to hide. Further to this point, Trump Jr. went on Hannity last night to speak specifically about his actions. Granted, Sean Hannity is not always interested in giving a complete, unvarnished account of what happens in Trump world, and his questions are softballs, but Trump Jr. made some important points nonetheless. And he makes some good points here that, most people give other good points, but here are some, at least somewhat unique, other points. It says that, namely the fact that there was no subsequent follow-up. And that is, that does show that, if there was some crazy information, on Hillary Clinton and they were all colluding together or whatever, there would probably have been a follow-up meeting. Or contact with a Russian lawyer and nothing to tell than candidate Trump. That's the reason nothing to tell is important, is because, in order for there to be a law broken and a crime, basically there has to be something of value given, and there was nothing of value given at all. He didn't bring up a good point here. Well, he kind of implies that, but also solicitation. You have to go out looking. Like Junior would have had to go out looking for a foreign national to say, "Hey, we need your help on the elections," and instead, a publicist contacted him, and so that's a big difference. And it was someone that he had known already. So there's a big difference there between being solicited and soliciting others. Therefore, unless you decide to believe he is lying, there was no collusion. The Holy Grail is still missing. I don't think Trump Jr. went on national television last night and told a bunch of lies. Undoubtedly, the president's enemies will believe that they are justified in feeling otherwise. But Trump Jr. has little incentive to do anything but tell the truth at this point. Even if we suppose there was a follow-up from the campaign with the Russian lawyer, it is hard to say that more conversations or meetings would have amounted to a crime. And yes, something can be wrong but not illegal. However, that is not the argument Democrats and their allies in the media want to make. They want this to crack the foundation of the Trump presidency. They want it to crumble. Now, I would argue that it's not even wrong. If the Democrats made the argument that it was simply wrong, that would be harder to argue against, because it would be less objective. But I still don't think that it is wrong at all. I mean, all Trump Jr. did was get contacted by a publicist, be told that there was some dirt on Hillary Clinton, and then he went into the meeting and there was nothing of value, and so he didn't tell Trump Sr. anything. He didn't have any follow-up conversations. There was nothing of value. I mean, that's not doing anything wrong. Blinded by disdain for the president. I mean, how are these people supposed to communicate otherwise? Blinded by disdain for the president, liberals and the media pack are mostly trying to create credibility for accusations of criminal violations and impeachable offenses. They embellish everything just so that they can keep the story moving. Maybe they will get a break and someone will stumble into a crime during the investigation into the non-crimes of the fall campaign. And I think that's part of what they're trying to do here. They know there's nothing, but if you notice, they went from Trump Sr. collusion to like campaign laws being broken by Trump Sr. And then they went into like a bunch of Trump's aides and things like that, and they didn't find much there, and they just keep evolving the angle and who they're going after. Well, now they're on to the son, Trump Jr. In their search for and eventually, if you do enough digging, someone may have done something wrong, unrelated to all of this, at some point, whether purposefully or accidentally. And then they'll be like, see, told you, it might not have been what we thought it was, but it was something. And it's like, give me a break. In their search for a non-existent, but I got to point out, even that has not been found yet. There hasn't even been found, something incidental hasn't even been found yet. And they've been investigating for over a year now. People forget that. They've been investigating since before this all happened. Or the election actually happened. So, literally, this has been going on for over a year. In their search for a non-existent smoking gun, Trump's opponents appear at least partially satisfied by the constant hounding of the White House and the president's family. In politics, being innocent is just an advantage. It is not determinative. And although the facts do not support the left's pursuit of criminal wrongdoing on the part of the Trump clan, Trump Jr. is sure to face a lot of harassment and he may make more mistakes. But that is far from being in the crosshairs of an American law enforcement investigation that could bring down a president. Sorry to the Trump haters for being such a buzzkill. If Trump Jr. is guilty of anything, it is letting someone so lacking in credibility, like music publicist Rob Goldstone, have unfettered access to his schedule. Danger. You usually see your enemies coming, but it is your friends who will blindside you and get you in trouble. Anyway, Trump's enemies are desperate for something impeachable, but remember there is no such thing as a crime of collusion. It's not even a misdemeanor, and unless the Russian lawyer provided an illegal contribution, stolen property, etc., to the Trump campaign, there is no crime that will take this story where the media want it to go. But that doesn't mean they will quit trying. So, there you have it. And this is the Washington Post. I mean, I think some people within, the mainstream media are probably thinking that this strategy of pushing Trump Russia will only hurt them. As a Trump supporter, I've come to the conclusion that I want them, this has been so argued already, that Trump Russia, they've gone through it to such an extent and they've found nothing so far. They found so little that I want them to keep digging now. Like, there's almost no chance of them bringing down President Trump this way. And long term, they're just going to ruin their own credibility. And, at some point, the elections will come and it'll be, okay, you've had like 4 years of investigations. What did you find? And they'll have nothing. even in the 2018 midterm elections, what are they gonna have? You know, all their time is being spent on this. That means their time isn't being spent on other stuff. And to be honest, I prefer that. Um, so the most dangerous thing for Trump getting kicked out of office would be if the Democrats actually were reasonable and convinced a bunch of people to join their side, then they overtook Congress and then wrongfully impeached Trump. That would be like the greatest path. And so these bullshit arguments aren't going to get them there to a majority Congress. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not even a Republican, but at this point I want Republicans in because I'm so sick of obstructionism. And yeah, I know the Republicans did it, obstructed pretty badly under Obama, but the Democrats are obstructing at least as bad and probably worse. And, you know, the Congress needs to do something. And even if it's, you know, I don't agree with everything, at least maybe we'll create a message to the Congress where it's like, you know, you better be doing something or we're going to vote you out. And so if the Republicans are trying to do something and the Democrats are trying to obstruct, we're going to vote the Democrats out. And then if the Republicans try to obstruct later and the Democrats are trying to do something, we'll vote the Republicans out. And we'll just give a bigger majority to whatever party is already a majority. I mean, seems perfectly reasonable to me. Anyways, have a good one. But even the Washington Post is now saying Trump-Russia is bullshit. Now, there are plenty of Trump-Russia articles still. But, you know, this is their Republican columnists, and the editors are at least allowing him to publish this. This might be a feeler to see how their audience reacts to it. But anyways, have a good one, guys.